back NOL or offering extended tax credits, hiring incentives, training, what would it be?
That's a hard statement. I think we'd have to focus on our youth, and I would, if there was just 2 or 3 things for me to do in the state of California, I would really focus on the youth, and the ones that are college bound are going to go to college anyway.
Yeah.
That's not an issue. I would get these young kids that are coming up out of high school into a reverse career training so that they saw what they could do in a career path. Let's just use nursing as an example. So this person wants to go into nursing, and let them see what that career path looks like and get them working in some sort of a trade school type environment towards that.
Yep.
And do a reverse path of education so that they will stay in that and they'll become a tax-paying member of California.
Yeah, become interested in from the beginning and get hooked into the concept, yeah.
We do a mentoring program here at our factory where we bring people in for 3 months. We mentor them in whatever their interest might be. The one that I just finished was, he was interested in IT, so he spent 3 months in IT here. And we did, yesterday here at the factory, we did a software upgrade for the manufacturing control software called MRP. And my regular IT guy said, I can get that all done in 1 day, but you need to call back our mentoring student who's gone, who's left now, because I need him to be able to help us. And so you see, he learned enough when he was here that he would be critical for a 1-day conversion of software, and that
became valuable. Yeah,
that's a very difficult project to do in a big factory.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's over 30 computer workstations, and then there's the big mainframe and the MRP system. Without it, if that wasn't running on Monday morning, I would lose about $15,000. And so this is where the young student came in. Of course he would, says he was happy to come back.
Sure,
and
sure.
Of course he was paid too.
Right, of course. So I want to swing back to the federal side of things, just from the perspective of you're doing good things, and now you're doing mentoring to new people, but to those businesses that are out there considering, how do I, if my market's slow locally, how do I make a living? Is export a good thing? How do you make that decision? Is there a place for them to start that you would recommend?
There certainly is. You can't just jump into exporting and expect the world to come beating to your door. The place to start is to go visit the U.S. Commercial Service. And there's a U.S. Commercial Service office pretty much in every county of the bigger counties. And they will help you, bring you into this up to speed. Is your product export worthy, is an example. Is your product have enough profit margin in it to withstand the extra costs associated with shipping and with exporting and so forth. But if you're thinking of getting into it, that's the best way to start. But there's other avenues, the World Trade Council, for example, and these types of organizations are all oriented towards helping people get up off the ground. Keep in mind that it's an investment. If you're going to export, you will have to spend money to get things going. Yeah. It's not going to just happen.
It's like the old GSA contract. Everybody thought, oh, I'm going to go get a GSA contract, and suddenly money's going to start rolling in. No, it gives you the ability to compete. It doesn't assure that you're going to make money.
Yeah, GSA contracts are a very complicated circumstance. And yes, that's a great thing for certain companies to have, but they are also very competitive too. Yep. It was not a panacea, and neither is exporting. However, exporting and getting started in it, the first step is to have an interest in it.
Right.
And then start working through. And I would also suggest working in a country that speaks English as in your first experiences. Canada. Go export to Canada first. It's our biggest trading partner. It's easy to export there. We operate under the North
NAFTA
American
agreement, yep.
Free Trade Agreement, so that makes it easier there also.
So David asked me, our executive producer asked me to ask you a couple of questions. One of them was something about the Prince's Table. And he said he's not sure whether you would tell me or not, but I should ask.
Well, I have 1,000 stories. When you get into exporting and you end up in different places around the world, sometimes you're surprised where you end up. And I was in the United Arab Emirates and was invited to a very big dinner that there was a lot of the Saudis and the royalty at. And I actually have quite a few stories from that particular event, but the one I'll tell here is after we had our great dinner, and I sat right next to an Iraqi general who was escaped Iraq, who had worked under Saddam Hussein.
Right.
After all this was finished and everybody spoke and visited and discussed things, we went into where the sheiks had had their dinner, as opposed to where the rest of us were at.
Mildly different.
Dramatically different. And however, the servants thought that we were royalty. They didn't know the difference because apparently we weren't supposed to be there. So when we went in there, they treated us like royalty, and we said, hey, this is super. So we sat down, and now I had my servants to either side, and all I had to think was that my coffee was low, and they would refill the coffee, and then they take 2 steps back and stand at attention, never making a sound, just working to anticipate your every need. If I was to reach for the sugar, they would be insulted because they should anticipate that the sugar should be put in the coffee. Wow,
there's a job, huh?
There's quite a job. But beautiful surroundings, gigantic ice carvings that were all carved in these marquees that I don't know what they meant because it was in Arabic. But these huge ice carvings, and then the remnants of all of this lamb, you know, from what they had been eating when we went in there. We didn't sit in the big gold chairs. We sat below those.
I'm Charlie Sundling, the CEO of Pipeline Software, and you're watching Eye on Business.